videos. I thank God. I thank God for what I need to be thankful for. I don't pray as much as I used to. So when I make these videos, which at this point I don't expect many to watch my videos. I think I've said what I need to say many times in these different ways. Nothing is new. The reason why I've been consistently making videos is really just to reinforce um, the my mental strength to deal with these clowns. But also, I'm glad I've been documenting this thing because my videos, I started making them a while ago. It's been 6 years. First was just because I wanted to tell the story of what's happening to me as a target individual, hoping that I can help others. But at this point, everything that needs to be said in regard to what's happening to me has been said many times. So now it has become more of me kind of just putting myself back into the reality of what's happening, as there's a lot of effort to disorient you and destabilize target individual to view what's happening to them in this deceptive way that is almost is so nonsensical, but it's almost idiotic. I just let me use that word. And now looking back, I'm actually glad I've been making videos for so many years, because some of the things that I've been making videos about is how this perps that target individual deal with have been telling me how they're gonna frame me. They've been telling me for years and years they're gonna frame me in different version. They told me that they're gonna implant child porn to frame me. They told me they're gonna have this disgusting teen trash that you see here. Act like they've been victimized by me. I've been making these videos for a long time. I can't even believe it now. It was like 2022 after some videos 2020 like what and about this specifically. I've even been making videos about before even moving, because I moved to this place in I'm not gonna say, but about 4 years ago or so. And wherever you go is gonna happen to you. But on top of that, here they tell me that they're gonna have these teenage neighbors, these teenage kids neighbor, I should say, be more even specific. And I'm trying to censor myself and not insult them. Act like they were victimized. And it takes some trashiness of an elevated level to even try to create this kind of thing. This is disgusting. Because the truth is, as much as you hate me, that's not gonna hurt me the most. It's gonna hurt whoever this teenage trash, I should say, teenage kids playing this role. It's a matter of time. Maybe not today, but if the psyche of a child acting like they're victimized, for sure that's gonna work well for the long term. There is no way there is not gonna be some consequences psychologically to that non-adults. I don't even want to call them kids for a reason, because I don't want to humanize them. Because what they're doing here is they expect me to maintain that sensibility and reasonability that, they're not adults. So you should be the sensible one and have sympathy for them. And who is them? This teen trash that are gonna frame me. I don't have sympathy for them. Yes, they're being exploited by whoever is telling them to do that, but it's none of my concern. Like I keep saying, if they're exploiting them, the concern of whose it should be the parents. But the parents benefit from this, and so that's perhaps why they're allowing their children to be utilized in that disgusting ways. So for me, I have zero concern, and I've warned them that I'm not gonna let this happen in a pacific way. The thing is, they've made this little retard so invested in that they think that, how can I say this? To create this character, they have to method act. Meaning that even though it's a frame, in the mind of this loser, trashy, retarded teen lowlife, as you can, I need to restrain myself, to stay in character, they really want to believe that it's really happening. Now they've seen that if they do that in my face, I will react in this expeditive way that it will be a life changer. That's all I can say. There will be no hesitation. I will not even if they pass by me and say hi to me. That is a risk on its own. Meaning that I will not even allow that to happen. If they escalate that, my reaction will be very, 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 very escalated. It will be really bad. That's all I can say. And I don't want that to happen. And I'm not endorsing violence or aggression, but I'm just saying this for sure. There will be a reaction. And, I think at some point they didn't believe that was going to happen because I'm not that kind of person. But we all have a limit, and I've reached that limit and willing to go to wherever it needs to go. But with that being said, I've been making videos about them saying that for years, right? And what you're seeing here at the bottom, or what you're seeing here, is videos I've made for years. And you see some example of some disgusting teen trash that wants to be seen in the hallways. Because with me, the things that's also happening, as I keep saying in my videos, the reason why I even have to make a lot of videos for myself is because I'm dealing with the V2K synthetic telepathy. So now my mind is so rewired. They're playing my brain so much and really want me to internalize this, and then wanting me to accept not only the way they force my brain to experience things, and then want me to accept what they're framing me. I'm like, okay. I don't know if Target Vigil, they were expecting Target Vigil to be this submissive, but it feels like it's designed for the Target Vigil to crash out. And unfortunately, some Target Vigil have crashed out. It feels exactly like that's what they want. I think they're lucky that, one, I'm not somebody who's a violent person, an aggressive person. Because I think if they would have done that to some other person, especially a male gender guy who is a little bit more on the aggressive person, more on the physical person, there'll be already something happening. There will be a death. And so I think I am not a violent person. I am not somebody who wants violence. I don't want to be aggressive. I'm not that. I want people to get along with people. I'm a friendly person. So for me to get to that point, it means that I've been pushed to that point. And now I'm here. Now I'm here. And the rage have reached another level, because what you're going to hear is the horrible things they do to children every day. I listen to that video, and what you're going to hear is the abusiveness, the tortureness of what's happening in this program to children. Children are being harmed in this program. They're torturing them in so many ways you're going to hear. And you heard this video many times. Let's just say that I listen to that video every day, multiple times a day, over and over and over and over and over and over. The reason why I do that is, one, I don't want to allow these losers, because what's happening here, or especially the ecosystem, they are trying to redesign what's happening here. This perps utilize brainwashing tactics too. Meaning that they want to reinforce a reality where they box out that what they're part of in this program harms so many children. I don't want them to ever escape that from the reality that they're actually involved in something where children are being harmed. This is not a program that is protecting kids. You're going to hear the level of abusing they are to children, and how they're torturous to children. Every day I listen to that. And especially this disgusting teen trash, because they thought they're going to look heroic participating in that. And that is actually worse, because I exposed how disgusting this program is to children, so much so in their face. And I'm like, if you ever see me thinking I don't know you're abusing and torturing children in this program, it'll be the mistake of your life. And these non-adults don't have mentality of adults. Maturity of these clowns are like of a pinky toe. And this is where things are going to be dangerous, because they think that tantrums, childishness is going to be allowed, especially when it comes to the harms of these children that I bombard myself to listen to every day. They think that childishness and then tantrum is going to allow them to behave this way in front of me, even pretending they are victimized. And by the way, they tell me that, yeah, they're making it look like that I'm dating some teenage kids here, or I'm talking to some teenage kids, and everything is hacked. Everything I own is hacked. They can send messages to them using my phone, me not even knowing, right? And they've been saying that, like, yeah, we're chatting, we're doing this. And see, the funny part is sometimes they tell me, like, yeah, we're telling people that we're together right now, right? And I'm in an apartment by myself. It's like, yeah, and things like that. And I'm like, if you ever try to method act this in front of me, there'll be a problem. And by the way, they tell me that via voice to score. And I say, if you ever, and I'm like, if this trash ever, and I'm saying this in video, ever come near me, try to act like whatever they set me up and framing me, do that in front of me, it will be a life changer. I know I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for what will change life. And they're not going to be victims of anything sexual, but it's going to be bad. The reason why I say that is because not only nobody is going to let themselves be framed by some teenage kids, but what adds to their anger and the rage is because this trash are involved in something where children are being tortured and abused. And I use the word abuse because these losers, one thing they don't want to be accountable for is to be accountable, to be part of something where abusing children is happening. And so the way they've tried to make this teen trash feel like what they're doing are heroic is because they're like, no, we're making you pay for what you did when you were a kid. When you were a kid, and they try to bring up what I did as a child in middle school, try to exaggerate that, and be like, yeah, no, that's abuse, when in reality it's just an inappropriate act of what a child is capable of doing as a child. And this trash, this teen disgusting low life, are spending so much time and effort negating what you're gonna hear about the abuses and the tortures of children that they do in this program where this teen trash are part of. And the best part is because it's been so validated that this program torture children. What they've been trying to create is like, no, this is a different program. We're in a different portal. This trash. Stargate Mitchell, don't be deceived by this disgusting clowns. This is a program run by the government. They're utilizing human beings, inclusive of the youngest, like children, to the oldest, like grandparents, as test subjects. And they're torturing us in so many ways, psychological and physical. And then they contract this loserness, this trash, to participate in implementing the tactics that consist of different kind of brainwashing, gaslighting, as the technology is implemented onto us. And so for me, what they're doing, they're trying to segment themselves as something different, so they don't get accountable and don't be accountable for being involved in something where children are being tortured. And that is far from working. Oh no. For all the soul of these children tortured and suffering, they're not going to enjoy this program for what they can enjoy it for. The ability to manipulate human beings like toys. Enjoy the empowerment thing they get out of that without the consequences, the accountability that comes with it. And if I face them, it's not about what they just do to me. It will be way more than just what they do to me. It is so disgusting. They tell me things like they're gonna frame me in this disgusting way. I was laying here, and they're like, "Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the underwears of these disgusting teenagers. We're gonna plant them somewhere here in my apartment and frame me like that." Ugh. Some of the things they tell me is like, "We're gonna plant your semen in their underwear and say you were with them." Disgusting trash. One of the things they said is because I was intimate with this woman who's like a 40-year-old woman, ended up being a perp. And they said, we're gonna get the semen from that condom you used with this woman and plant that in the underwears of this disgusting teen trash. Well, the disgusting part is me saying that because they're disgusting to me. And frame you like that. And we're doing that because we're heroes. Like, you're disgusting low life involving a program that torture children, but that validates what this program is to children. That validates that this program harms children. Even this disgusting perps being utilized in this way means that this program torture and harm children. It validates that this is a program that harms and abuses children, because if you can use this disgusting teen trash like that, imagine what they can do to TI children. Now, I don't know if they're gonna do that aspect, this specific thing I'm saying. Maybe they're just saying that to kind of create a back and forth and some kind of, worry me. Like they like to use that word worry. But the thing is, I've made videos about how they've been planning to frame like that for so many years now. I mean, I think the first video about how they're doing things was in 2022. But then in 2023, I'm like, they tell me they're going to frame me. And then they start showing us some pictures of what this disgusting trash look like, this little teenage kids shit. And I'm sorry for the language I'm using. It's just like I can't just restrain myself from cursing and insulting them. They're so disgusting. That's how much hatred I have for them. It's so disgusting. And they're doing their best to be like, nah, you just entertain. It's like, if you ever bring your disgusting trash around me, you'll see how much I'm into them. You'll see what will happen. And I'm not talking about anything sexual, but it's gonna be bad. And actually, as I was taking a screenshot I'm taking this screenshot that you're seeing here, right, of those videos I've made. There's a video where there's this video where about like this girl I followed in 2014, thinking she was an adult because she looked like an adult. She looked like she was in her 20s, and finding out she was not. And there's a picture of her in 3 different pictures, and she looked the same, and meaning that this is why I follow her. At 27, she looked the same as, actually a little bit even younger than when I follow her. And this started stimulating me when I saw this picture. I barely saw it because it's so far. Just because in that picture, in those 3 pictures, one of those 3 pictures, she's not an adult, but they all look the same. I didn't even see exactly the picture. I just saw some black look, but I know in that one of those pictures is the girl that I followed in 2014, thinking she was an adult because she looked like an adult, and it stimulated me. I don't just be like, yeah, I see what mapped. It's like, no, you just force it. I can't even see that picture. Barely see. I just see some black kind of thing but I know what that picture is. It's like, yeah, see one. There's like trash. And this is a video. I'm like, look at this little bottom feeders who think I'm going to subscribe to this thing because in 2014 I followed somebody like that, and you can see in those pictures they all look the same. You to figure out when is she the underage? What pictures here? When you look at the 3 picture of this ocean person, when does she look like when she was underage? You won't even be able to tell, because she looks the same today as a 27-year-old than when she was like not an adult. And me in 2014 follow somebody that I never even talked to, never even I don't even know her. I never even had an interaction, but clearly that's what she looked like. And that's why when I was in my 20s, followed her thinking she was in the 20s. So today that, yeah, because they have nothing else but just the creation of what they make me imagine. It's like, yeah, you see, I'm an adult. It's like, no, you're a little disgusting teen trash. That is not desired, especially for me. That is hated, actually. That deserve to bad things, and I have no sympathy. With me, like, they really think I'm gonna be. Listen, I'm not an aggressive person, right? So they want to have that sympathy of like, oh, this but they kid, like, now you're discussing with teen trash. That means you're gonna grow up even worse. You're discussing whole life, and you find empowerment in this. You know, beside this thing of ocean, what the other things they try to create is like, oh no, whoever you were. Because when I was 26 years old, I was with somebody who was 19. At least she said she was 19, and she presented herself 19. I think she was actually a little bit older than that. And like, no, she's lying. And they're like, no, I'm 19. It's like trash, a bunch of little retards. No, you're in a program that tortures children, acting like you're getting raped. And for me, the most disgusting part is like how they try to paint themselves as like this psyop of like this. No, they try to paint themselves as like this group of like fierce feminists, like protective. When in reality, they're utilizing psyops, covering up the horror and atrociousness of what they do to children and women in this program for the purpose of using them as guinea pigs. This is the extension of MK Ultra. It's the MK Ultra on steroid. You know, I was listening to Anna Toledo and this Target Justice spokesperson, and you know, having interview because they are having hearings, and as I'm saying that's messing with me, hearings for the MK Ultra, and the question is did it ever end? And she's somebody who spoke loudly for Target Major. Is like, this is not ended. MK Ultra has just advanced to a level. Instead of using LSD and all the drugs that you were using in the 60s and 50s, now it's remote technology, direct energy that can alter your mind and play with your brain, rewire your brain. For example, right now, it's the earrings. They're going through the things they play with my brain with earrings. And this is the new version of MK Ultra, vastly more sophisticated. And just like MK Ultra, it's driving people to insanity, torturing them, and inclusive of children being utilized. And it's funny when this trash is like, no, we're just a different portal, we're doing our research. And no, this is a version of MK Ultra where the research consists of altering the mind and controlling the mind and changing people, the way they design the brain to be designed to be. And not only just the mind, they do things to the body. This is MK Ultra on vastly more advanced level because the technology can also alter brains and body and your health and your physical aspect by design. And they utilize on top of that, in addition to MK Ultra, this loserness to participate in the conditioning of how they are rewiring you. And they use this trash that's supposed to deceive you to believe like this is anything but a massive government that is even utilizing children as guinea pigs. And this disgusting side for me is so disgusting because for me, I'm in New York, right? And they've used this like liberalish like facade. And sometimes they use this mothers like, yeah, we're doing that for children. Disgusting when there's children dying here, suffering like that. You're going to hear that. Not only that, at the end, you're going to hear a father talking about how they try to mitigate the torture that their children go through via the Voice to School. And you listen to these trashy parents thinking they are involved in something that protects kids when they know exactly what this program does to children. And it's far from anything protective to children. It's first of all, just the fact that they have kids playing rape victims or being acting like they're getting raped or acting victimized is a key element. Understanding this is far from something that protects children. But I have no sympathy for this little trash. who I have sympathy for, who I feel bad for, is those kids that are being tortured in this program and abused in this program. For me, I know exactly what I'm going to do. If I ever see this low life, I'm going to act accordingly. Listen to the horrible things they do to children. Listen to the torturous things to children. As I'm saying that, you hear this trash say, "I kiss." And what she's trying to refer to is trying to make me imagine what didn't happen when I was a child. Well, you're going to hear what they do to children. The sufferings of these children. The scream of a child because they're being tortured, harmed in the program this loser are part of. And for me, when I see that, and I see these losers, you know where things are going to go. To all target individuals, stay strong. And to the children suffering in this program, being abused in this program, I pray that this ends for them.
They're putting the weapon on you and there's nothing you can do. And that's an awful feeling.
It's usually combined with a very cruel microwave auditory effect, voices in their heads telling her, "We're not raping you, we're just stimulating you." And that has got to be the most disgusting, wicked, evil, satanic thing I have ever heard.
Worryingly, a growing number of people are contacting TI support organizations to report that their children seem to be displaying signs of these weapons. Often, the parents are victims themselves, making the torture a generational thing.
A significant number of members, many single mothers and small children, minor children as young as 3 years old, are being targeted and harassed, particularly with voice to skull, V2K. The sickness that someone would torture a small child is beyond belief. We have confirmed that these kids are in fact receiving directed energy weapons and voice to skull. It's a very disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, "Watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me."
The youngest we have record of is as young as 3 years old. What they do is that they beam voices at these children's, and they say things to them. For example, one of them would say, "They're gonna eat my stomach. They're telling me that they're gonna eat my stomach." Another mother tells me that her 5-year-old tells her she never has a quiet moment in her head. Like, imagine a child 24/7 having these voices going on. Not to mention the damage to their developing brains, because this is perpetrated with microwave beams that are being directed at young minds.
So, what evidence is
that our victims
Criminals are scared for their lives.
Wanna shoot the children.
you can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons fired.
Criminals are scared for their lives.
Wanna shoot the children.
You can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons fired by the CIA.
Criminals are scared for their lives.
Wanna shoot the children.
You can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons.
Criminals are scared for their lives.
Wanna shoot the children.
You can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons.
Today I forgot to bring my flyers with me. I did bring my cards, but I forgot to bring the the flyers because I didn't know I was going to be able to see him. And I just blurted out and I said, little girls are being microwaved by the CIA. And he was surrounded by women.
Eyes, and we have children as young as 3 years old that are hearing voices. They have implanted dreams, very violent and some in sexual nature. It to children, they're implanting children with atrocious dreams, many of them of a sexual nature. And it's just a throw these
of abuse of the human resources. My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutmann to begin today.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions. I observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe
And have had
Yeah. So, we've spoken a few times. I'm going through the same thing. Our situations are a little different. So, I have the full-blown artificial telepathy. You're definitely receiving broadcasts because I've seen it in your photos. And, isn't it strange that sometimes you could feel some type of way that's not your feelings?
Yeah. They do that a lot. Can project anger, fear, and weird feelings. They can do pretty much anything that has access to the brain or to the mind.
Right.
Not just me, but I have children, and so my children are able to say certain things, like they can feel certain things.
Right.
Zaps on their body.
Yes, here's a filing-grounded, reportive case file summary of Devon Delaney Fraley and HF, with specific places you can verify each point in the accessible appellate petition materials, which reproduce key parts of the operative complaint. I'm going to rely most heavily on the Supreme Court appendix because it includes the relevant complaint excerpts verbatim, including the Fraley HF paragraphs, and is publicly accessible. 1. Where Fraley and HF appear across the litigation record. A District Court complaint excerpts in the Supreme Court appendix. The Supreme Court appendix contains the complaint section titled Devin Delaney Fraley and the follow-on paragraphs about HF starting immediately after that heading. B. Fifth Circuit Appeal, March 8, 2024. The Fifth Circuit opinion caption lists Devin Delaney Fraley and HF among the plaintiff's appellants. Notably, it labels JD and LM as a minor, but does not print a minor after HF in that caption line. C. Supreme Court Petition, July 23, 2024. The petition's petitioner list includes Devin Delaney Fraley and then separately lists HF, a minor. It also includes a note explaining that after an amended complaint was filed, the minor daughter of petitioner Fraley was added as a claimant. Number 2, Fraley's allegations, what she claims happened to her. In the complaint excerpt, as reproduced in the appendix, Fraley alleges in substance she was nominated included in a TSDB subcategory, NS McCarthy blacklist, without notice and without an opportunity to rebut. She alleges she has suffered physical electronic surveillance and organised stalking as part of being targeted. She alleges that around 2016, her targeting increased and she began experiencing artificial tinnitus and V2K continuously. She alleges directed energy weapon, DW attacks causing burns, including to her feet and genital area. She alleges the DW attacks caused symptoms she characterises as indicative of Havana syndrome, described as permanent brain and physical injuries. She alleges social, professional, personal repercussions, including suffering, anxiety and loss, and requests remedies including removal from the TSDB and damages. That is the core Fraley-specific symptom set and theory as pled in the excerpted complaint text. 3. HF's allegations, what Fraley claims happened to the child. In the same reproduced complaint excerpt, the filing describes HF as Fraley's daughter and a toddler, specifically referred to as 3-year-old. The text uses 3-year-old daughters, but the context is HF as the single minor plaintiff child. The allegations about the child's symptoms are described as, after the filing of the complaint, HF allegedly began showing signs of DVTK, and because she is incapable of verbalizing, Fraley says she inferred symptoms through behavioral changes, including irritability, slamming her head against the floor, extremely high body temperature upon waking, among others. The allegations about ongoing harm include alleged irritability, anguish, sweating, pain, and suffering every day, with asserted unknown damages to the child's developing brain.
For somebody, even though they're not.
Target Source LLC, and we're here explaining how to mitigate the V2K that is being implemented on our kids. For example, my daughter ended up killing her little fish because mommy told her to put soap and candy into the fish tank in hot water, ended up killing the fish. And she was only 3 at this time. So when you ask your kid, why do they do it? And they say, well, because mommy or daddy told me to. This is where you have to tell them, okay, this is not right. If you hear mommy or daddy's voice, please look at our lips and see if you see them moving. And if you don't see them moving, you need to let us know that you can use monsters or bad guys, whatever you want to use. For my daughter, we use monsters. She's 6 now, and they don't really hit her with V2K anymore like they used to. But she does let us know from time to time, hey, the monsters are trying to talk to me. Thank you for listening. The most important thing is to be very vigilant at all times with your child.
For somebody, even though they're not putting their hand